Welcome to Texas Boxing Scene. We're going to try this again. From what I understand, I did a video before and there's no sound. The sound didn't work. So we're going to try this again. Please, we're going to get into the Josh Franco and Juan Francisco Estrada Purse Bid, which was won by Golden Boy. We'll get into what all that means. But before we do, please like, share, and subscribe. Texas Boxing Scene. It is National Autism Awareness Month. And all proceeds from this channel go to autism research and recovery. But before we get in, and also please subscribe to the other channel, 3D Boxing Blog, where we usually do these types of videos. 3D Boxing Blog on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe on all forms of social media to that as well. All right, we're gonna get into this. Golden Boy won the bid for Juan Francisco Estrada versus Josh Franco. So what does that all mean, right? The bid came in really low. The bid came in really low, much lower than anticipated. It was won by Golden Boy. It was unopposed, meaning no one else bid on it besides Golden Boy. Golden Boy put in the minimum bid, so obviously they got it. This tells me a couple. Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, told us he's in contact with Bam. He wants to put Bam and Franco and Josh Franco on the same card in San Antonio this summer. I think actually this gets us closer to that, and I'll explain. Estrada doesn't have to take this fight, and I don't think he will because the purse is less than he can get elsewhere. And Franco may not take it either, although Franco has reason to take it, even though Franco can make more money elsewhere. This is a legacy fight for him. This would be beating a Hall of Fame. It'd be the best name on his resume. So although he would be, getting short pay on this, there's still reason for Franco to take this fight, and he also wouldn't have to vacate his belt, which is what I wanted to get into about Estrada. So Estrada has what's called the WBA super flyweight super champion, and Franco is the regular champion. So there's like a distinction between the two. So there's only one way to kind of clarify this is for them to, figure it out in the ring. If Estrada, Estrada can do as he wishes, but if he doesn't take this fight, he's going to have to vacate his belt. What would that mean for Franco? Well, Franco would then likely have to face the WBA's number one challenger. Who is that? It's Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Chocolatito Gonzalez was supposed to fight Franco back last year, but he lost his belt to Estrada, so then Franco was supposed to fight the winner of Chocolatito Estrada rematch. It got postponed once, postponed twice, and then it got canceled. And Chocolatito went on when Estrada got COVID, and then Chocolatito went on to fight Martinez and got a sensational win there. And Franco's kind of been left out in the cold. So now Franco would get a chance to, if Estrada vacated, which I think he will. I think this is the most likely scenario. Estrada vacates, looks for a bigger fight elsewhere with more money. Estrada really doesn't need the belt. He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. The belt doesn't mean much to him as much as it means. That doesn't mean much to him. It means, he'll get a huge payday without. He'll get a bigger payday without the belt. The belt doesn't make him, right? He's been a champion and a legend for so long. It means a little bit more to Franco. Franco's a young champion. He's an upstart. This belt means a lot to him. He doesn't have, and no fault to his own. He's just a much younger guy. He doesn't have the resume yet that Estrada has. Not that he can't get it. He's a sensational fighter. So what I first see happening is, and Eddie Hearn could have won this fight. If Eddie Hearn wanted to buy this fight, he could have easily done it. He could have bought this fight, and then teamed it up with Bam Rodriguez versus Rungvisai, which we're going to get into, but I don't think he wants that. I think what Eddie Hearn wants, and I think there's a good chance it could happen, because like I said, Eddie Hearn's talked about putting the two on together in the same card. Bam and Josh are on board. They said it has to happen. You can check out the interviews on this channel. What I think is likely to happen is Estrada steps aside, vacates, doesn't take the fight. They put Franco in with the number one contender, who is Chocolatito, on the same card that Bam has to fight his mandatory, which is Rungvisai, which is a great fight too, right? Rungvisai beat Chocolatito twice. He's also got a winner and a loss with Estrada. That's a sensational fight too. So you got two great fights. Both guys, I think the timing works out. You could put them on the same card in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. Ryan Garcia just did, roughly 15,000 ticket sales, did a big gate at the Alamo Dome. I think these two guys are stars in San Antonio, Josh and Bam. I think you put two brothers on the card. I think you get a sensational showing, right? I think you get I think you could do 20,000 more plus 25,000, maybe 30. Like they're stars. You go to San Antonio, and San Antonio is the best fight city in the country, bar none, hands down, no question about it. San Antonio is the best fight city in the country. That's why they can do 15,000 when they have Ryan Garcia versus an opponent, because it's a huge fight city. The fan base is knowledgeable. The fan base is passionate. They love boxing. You kind of talk to people in San Antonio, just the average kind of casual sports fan has some boxing knowledge. They know who Bam and Josh are. And there's just support they saw for their fighters in San Antonio, second to none. I think that fight could do a huge number. It could do a big gate ticket sale. I think they can really make their money back and some on a fight like that. They'll make a killing on that fight. On that card, and I think this gets us closer. As antiquated and as confusing as it sounds, I think Golden Boy winning this purse bid on a low number is a good thing if you're Josh Franco, Bam Rodriguez, and a fan of those guys, because I think both guys are. I think they're going to end up fighting on the same card now. Now I'm going to link a story to this. Jake Donovan wrote a piece. An interesting piece. I'm going to link a couple of my story from Texas Boxing Scene as well as Jake's piece in his tweet. He thinks this fight's going to happen. He thinks Franco versus Estrada is still going to happen. It's going to happen this summer. It's going to happen for more money. I'm interested in seeing how that plays out. But the situation is confusing. It is a confusing one. I don't think either guy would take this fight for the money that's being offered to him through the purse bid. I think Estrada would go on, and Estrada wants to fight with Bam. He wants to fight with Chocolate too. I think he's going to have to wait on both those fights, but there's still other big fights that he can make a lot more money on. Nietes, Ioka, there's plenty of big fights for him to make, and I think he'll take one of those. He also has the WBC franchise belt. Like, he's going to want to fight with Bam, right, who has the WBC World Championship. I know this is all super confusing. Bam's the WBC champion. Estrada is basically what they would call a champion in recess, right? Like, he doesn't defend his belt anymore, but they've kind of labeled him a world champion. I could get into it, but it's way too confusing, and it's really not important. But he's going to want those fights, right? Like, he's going to want the fight with Bam. He's going to want the fight with and what I think is going to happen is you're going to get the two brothers fighting this summer, June or July, likely together on the same night. I think you're going to get Bam versus Chocolatito. I mean, you're going to get Franco versus Chocolatito, and you're going to get Bam versus Estrada. I don't know which one is the main event. I don't know which one's the co-main, which one's the main. But I think if you're looking at this from Eddie Hearn's perspective, and I'm not, right? But I think Eddie, in his head, says, I'm going to put these two guys on the same card the same night. And he thinks Bam is going to win, but he thinks Chocolatito is going to win. And then he can kind of 5 months down the road, 6 months down the road, put Bam and Chocolatito together in a real mega fight and changing of the guard, the all-time great, 4-division legend, one of maybe the best little man ever, and then the next great little man, which is Bam. Put him in the ring together in kind of like this Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo Alvarez kind of thing, where you have like the changing of the guard, but will it change, right? I think because Eddie doesn't promote Franco's promoted by Oscar, Golden Boy, I think he really doesn't know how good Josh Franco is. So Josh Franco can certainly win that fight. I'm not saying he's definitely going to win that fight because Chocolatito's a legend. But, the timing of it, Josh Franco's a lot younger. Josh Franco's been looking sharp. Josh Franco's a big puncher, right? I think Josh Franco could win this fight. I would probably pick him to win the fight. But I think Eddie has in his head, okay, Bam will beat Rungvisai, and he thinks Chocolatito would win, and then he can match those guys in a mega fight down the road. I think that's what he's thinking. I think just Josh would mess up those plans. So I do think we get this, right? And I think for Estrada, he can go on and take other fights, big fights. I think this is a power move by Eddie, because Eddie could have just bought this fight. It wasn't as expensive as people may have thought. Like, Golden Boy won this fight on the cheap. They got it really, really, really undervalued for what they paid for. They can make a killing on this fight. If Eddie wanted that fight, he would have bought it. But I think he's going to let Estrada walk, right? And then get Franco versus Chocolatito, which is probably a bigger fight. So it's kind of Eddie not bidding on this. If I'm correct, if what I'm kind of assuming is correct, this was a power move by Eddie Hearn, and it was really well done. Now we'll see if it all works out, but I do think we're getting closer. I think, as weird as it sounds, like Golden Boy winning this bid and winning it for as little as they did gets us closer, not further away from Josh and Bam fighting on the same card in the Alamo Dome this summer. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts, comments below. Did I clear it up at all? Did I make the situation any better, or did I just, totally make it more confusing? Let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts, comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Texas Boxing Scene on YouTube. All proceeds from the channel go to Autism Research and Recovery. It is April 20th, 2022, from Texas to the world. Thank you, and God bless.